California. When you think California, you think of beaches, surfing, Hollywood. Well, if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the wrong place. In the northern Sacramento Valley, they do things a little different, and they've been doing it that way for generations. We're in the Golden State searching for California chrome. Buckle up. We're on our way south to visit our friend and guide, John Coots of Rod and River Guide Service. We're gonna do some striped bass fishing, so we decided to haul the trailer down so we could stop and visit some old friends along the way. I grew up down here. I've got a lot of old memories of the people and places that make up the Northern California Valley.
Long ass time. Yeah, you too. See it. You too.
Growing up, Eric Benzel and I were inseparable. We did just about everything together. When I moved to Oregon, Eric and I lost touch, but we recently reconnected, and he was kind enough to invite us to stay at his place the night before our fishing trip. We invited him to join us, but this time of year, it's hard for folks in the agricultural industry to get away. That's what drives this region: agriculture and the outdoors. Kids around here learn to drive tractors and four-wheelers long before they learn to drive a car. And I can remember shooting ducks more often than shooting baskets. It's bred into you.
So just jump on in.
Yeah, you want to try
Yeah, we'll have to try some. I actually got a glass right here.
We're having a good old time.
Just like old times.
Yep.
We visited with Eric's family, ate, and reminisced about running the fields that Eric now calls home, while his kids ran the dirt track situated in front of the shop. Like most folks around these parts, Eric has an open door policy. If the shop doors are open, then the cooler likely has a cold beer in it for you. Stop on in and have a visit. That's how I remember it as I was a kid, and it's one thing that I'm glad hasn't changed. The world could use more of it, if you ask me. The state of California has the 5th largest economy in the world, and a large portion of that economy, about $47 billion worth, is agriculture. Hunting and fishing make up an estimated $5 billion. It's a smaller yet still very significant chunk of dough.
It's Adam.
Adam? Oh, man. John Coots. Good to meet you, man.
All right. We ready to roll?
Yeah. Coots has this program dialed, and for a little extra luck, we've invited Dustin Parsons to join us.
Man, I feel like I've met you. I've heard about so much about you, man.
I've known Dustin just about as long as I've known my own brother, and that's what he is. He's a brother. He and my brother Cobb have been close friends for years, and he treats me like family every time I come down here. He also might be one of the fishiest dudes I know. If you're fishing for striper, you want Dustin in the boat. Coots burns upriver away from the crowds to some spots he's been working the last few days. It's been years since Adam or I have been striper fishing, so we're really excited to get after it.
Call that?
Taco.
Flour or corn? Where are your friends? Dustin, you want the map?
chicken.
Short of coming, but we got, what did we get out of that last little rainstorm? Two inches?
Yeah.
Up there in the foothills, two, 3 inches?
It saved this whole season.
But it really did buy us another 3 to 4 weeks of good fishing. A chance of fresh fish coming up,
It dumped
spawning
a little
fish
rain,
moving
man.
down. It did. It was.
And it got really cool. It got cold.
It got cold. It got to a point where we were about 5 days away of continuing having that 80. We were having, it got to be 85,
Yeah,
88, 90. It was getting warm. If we would have continued to have that at 68, 70 degree water, there wouldn't have been a striper season. You'd have to gone down to the Delta. I mean, you could have fished, but it would have been a struggle. So this has been it's been a blessing in disguise. We got lucky. We're fortunate to have it, and that's the water.
Oh, you got lucky.
Water is fortunate. I mean, we all depend very, very highly on these fisheries, and we're lucky to have them. And boy, when we get some water, it's fortunate.
The battle for water in this state is very real. It's a tough one for many of the guys because as much as they love the outdoors, they also rely on working the land to feed their families and pay their bills. We're talking about generations of people who have built dynasties in both industries. It's one of the reasons many of these folks never leave, despite the issues that the area faces. They're just so locked in to this way of life that they can't imagine any other alternative.
Back of it.
You got me good.
I want to set the hook so bad. I'm like, come on, I just want to set the hook so bad. Yep. Oh yeah.
I said the same
What's
thing.
the situation like down here fight-wise between like fisheries managers and farmers when it comes to water?
You know, water is essentially the root of all evil when it comes to all that. It's such a dire need that it causes problems. But at the end of the day, just we can kind of figure out a way to where we all kind of meet halfway. But it doesn't seem to be the solution.
We were talking about it on the way down. We're like, there's so many of these guys that fish in the spring and summer, and then guide waterfowl in the winter, or you know, they're either working the land and they're guides. Like they got to balance that want for both. You know what I mean?
It would make everybody's lives a heck of a lot easier. But then, you know, you have a year like this, and you look at that farm out in Scott's and Dunnigan. Guy's got 3,500 acres of rice out there, farms another 1,500 acres of tomatoes. He was told 3 weeks ago he's being allocated 116 acres of rice to be farmed and flooded, and 86 acres of tomatoes. So, do the math. It's, I'll see how these guys are going to make it, and it all comes down to water. It's pretty unfortunate. Guys, reel them up. Let's put them in your boat.
Oh yeah.
And you get it. And you can have that.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Good job, man.
That's how you know you're getting into the schoolie bass. You know what this is? Okay, you're gonna come in behind that front fin, go on the gill plate, slice through the diagonal, cut straight through. Feel that spine, angle that blade. It's good to have a flexible blade. Run it right down that back spine. Stop your blade. Remove the extras. Get your finger down and pinch that fillet. You're going to pull your left hand just as much as it's pushing your right hand. Straight through. On the rib cage line. Run that blade along it. Remove the extra rib cage meat. And let's throw that in the fryer. Get off the meat.
So after a great day of fishing, Dustin has offered to put us up for the night and whip us up some fish tacos. As per usual, he's invited friends and family to join in a good old-fashioned California taco feed. And that's how it's done here. You work hard and you play hard. For as long as I can remember, Dustin's house has been the epicenter of our visits to California. He and his amazing wife Michelle and their son Bryce welcome you in like family and typically stuff you with more food than a human being should realistically consume. Dustin knows his way around wild game. This guy's been cooking stuff he killed his whole life, and it shows. If Dustin cooked it, you can guarantee it's going to be delicious.
Okay, AJ, your fish you caught this morning, your first fish, right? This is what makes it special. Vegetable oil, it has high temp. The cheapest seasoning you can find, whatever. It's all good. Let it keep going in here, nice and crisp. Make sure you cut out all the red meat. You gotta get all the red meat, that's the fishy part. You gotta get it out. Cut it thin so it fits in a taco knife. Oh, we're getting close. So then we lay it on these tortillas. Whatever tortillas is your preference. I'm no expert. Then you make the sauce. You saw the sauce. Show this. There's the mangoes, the cabbage, the fish. Gotta have a little cilantro rice. Right? And that's pretty much it, man. Simple. Super simple.
Dustin lives in a beautiful part of the foothills. Watching Bryce and his friends doing the same things we all did as kids, running the hills, flipping over rocks, fishing, it makes you nostalgic and a little optimistic that the things we cherished as kids and now long for as adults still matter. They still help mold young minds into the type of humans that we need. You can't leave this place without acknowledging the generational camaraderie that makes it so special. It's the glue that holds it all together. The folks down here might take it for granted because it's all they know, but we see it, and we can't wait to experience it again.